Triad forms are undoubtedly one of the key elements when progressing from a beginner to an intermediate player and beyond. One immediate benefit is that they give you a whole host of different ways to play through chord progressions. Not only that, but they really help develop good voice leading, the ability to find chords close to one another without large leaps or unnecessary fretting hand movement. And as we saw in my introduction to arpeggios, the triad shapes are a great visualization for developing the technique of chord tone soloing and finding those sweet notes in your melodies. The good news is that there are only 9 shapes to memorize to play any close voicing triad, and in today's lesson I'm going to share with you possibly the easiest way to learn them all. To do so, we're going to be using bar chords, 2 of which you're probably already very familiar with. But first, an overview of what close or closed voicing triads are if you're unsure of the term. Triad comes from the 3 elements a chord contains: a root, the note which names the chord and upon which we add the other intervals, a third, major or minor third above the root, and a 5th, perfect, diminished or even augmented 5th above the root. When you play the 1st, 3rd and 5th notes of any major scale together at once, you have a major triad. And as the major triad contains 3 notes, there are 3 possible combinations of these chord tones: root 3 5, 3 5 root, and 5 root 3. When the chord is upside down and the root is no longer at the bottom, the chord is said to be in an inversion. So these are the close or closed voicing major triads. A chord voicing relates to the arrangement of the notes and the spacing between each one. A voicing is close when the notes are quite literally as close as they possibly can be to one another within 1 octave, the opposite of which is known as an open or spread voicing, in which the intervals extend beyond 1 octave. Close voicing triads are formed across 3 adjacent strings. There are therefore 4 triad string sets. String set 1 is strings 1, 2 and 3. String set 2 is strings 2, 3 and 4. String set 3 is strings 3, 4 and 5. And string set 4 is strings 4, 5 and 6. String sets 3 and 4 have the same intervals between the tuning notes, so close triads on these 2 sets will have the identical shape in the fretting hand. So in terms of what you need to learn, that leaves 3 string sets with 3 possible close triad voicings, hence the 9 shapes. The C major triad in a root position, when the root is the lowest note, can be played on string set 1 like this. To play the different inversions, you lower the highest note using the octave shapes. A note on string 1 is an octave lower when moved 2 frets higher on string 4. A note on string 2 is an octave lower when moved 2 frets higher on string 5. And a note on string 3 is an octave lower when moved 3 frets higher on string 6. See anything familiar? The triad shapes are formed around the C major bar chord rooted on string 5, what I like to call the A shape bar chord, as it resembles the open A major chord. The triads fit perfectly within the bar chord on string sets 1 and 2, which can serve as a visual anchor for you to find the other inversions. The A shape does not contain the triad inversions across all the strings, so we need to source the 3rd at the 7th fret of string 5. That then orientates the hand down to the root note on string 6 at the 8th fret, and we are making the link between the A shape and the G shape within the caged system. Here's another example to demonstrate that rooted in E. Play the bar chord and then play each of the triad shapes. Link the triads to the bar chord in your brain and fretting hand. The first bar chord you learnt was probably F major, an E shape bar chord. If you move that up to the C root note at the 8th fret of string 6, we get the next set of triad inversions. The triad inversions fit perfectly within the bar chord with the exception of string set 4, which, like the A-shaped bar, requires you to fret the 3rd at the 12th fret of string 6. Here's another example rooted in A. For the last set of triad inversions, we can use the open C chord shape raised 1 octave to the 12th position. The C shape is less common as a full bar chord form, but it is an important fretboard visualization as it very neatly contains all the triad inversions. So you see, bar chord shapes are the secret to unlocking all of the close voicing triads. A bar chord has so much more value than you might have realized. It's one layer in seeing the fretboard in a whole different way. For the minor triad, the setup is identical, but we use the minor forms of the bar chords. Here's the A minor shape. And the E minor shape. The C minor shape is a little trickier to visualize, but a good starting point can be the open D minor chord shape on string set 1. You can make the link between major and minor forms, remembering that the difference is the 3rd, which is flattened or lowered 1 fret for the minor triad. To develop this in your practice, the first thing is to play through each set of inversions using the bar chord shapes as your visual anchor. Once you're confident with the major and minor forms, you can look to start playing through them with a chord progression. Take a moment to firstly find the bar chord shapes within one particular area of the fretboard, then fire up the progression and try to be playing through the different triad inversions along with the backing. To develop that, then you can use the same progression in a different area of the fretboard, or of course be changing the progression. If you would like to find out more about fretboard visualization and chord theory, you should definitely check out Caged Clarity and the Chord Book Volume 1, both available from my online store with the link in the video description. Whilst you're there, be sure to pick up your free copy of Fretboard Mastery, my guide to learning the notes of the fretboard in just a few days. Tabs and fretboard diagrams are available to all members of my Patreon group. You can help support the channel and get exclusive bonuses each month for less than a cup of coffee. Find out more with the link in the cards or video description. Otherwise, you can help by clicking the like button if you enjoyed the lesson, and be sure to subscribe and ring that bell notification to not miss any future lessons. Practice well, and I'll see you again soon.